The very first smartwatch that came onto the market was the Pebble. It was a Kickstarter sensation that everyone loved, and now they've finally updated it to a brand new model, and it's called the Pebble Time. Now we're going to talk about how this compares with other smartwatches, including the Apple Watch, and some of the challenges that it faces. Pebble's first few smartwatches weren't nearly as nice looking as the Pebble Time. They looked quite a bit more like kids' toys, and while this one still has kind of a childish look about it because it's made of all plastic, it's a lot nicer looking than the other ones. It's a lot smaller too, so it actually fits on my very tiny wrist, which is pretty unusual for smartwatches. The only downside is that you've got a pretty small screen and a rather large bezel. That can be a little bit annoying, and it's also not a touchscreen, so if you tap on it, nothing happens, which is a little unintuitive, and you have to use these buttons instead. Pebble's added a new interface called the timeline, and basically it just splits up your day in kind of a calendar view. So it's showing me right now all the different events that I've got going on for the rest of the day, and I can check them all out, and if I want to learn more, I can just select the middle button and go right into an app. So right now I'm checking out the weather and the sunset time, so it's going to tell me the forecast here, and to get back you just press the home button. So we just go on back. Now if you want to access your other apps, you have to press the middle button and kind of scroll through all of the different ones that you have here. It's sort of like a card-based interface, sort of like what you'd find on Android Wear. It's not nearly as easy to navigate as the nice app icon screen that you have on the Apple Watch. So it can be a little bit annoying to sort through and find the apps that you're actually looking for. However, the Pebble App Store is pretty full, and there are a lot of good apps on here, and they load rather quickly, a lot quicker than what you'd see on earlier Pebble smartwatches. Probably the biggest benefit of the Pebble Time, and the one main advantage that it has over the competition, is that it's water resistant, so you can dunk it in water for up to 30 meters and it won't ruin the watch at all. The other thing that's great about it is the battery life. Pebble says that it'll last you through 7 days, but when we were testing it, it made it through about 5 days before it conked out on us. Regardless, 5-day battery life is much better than what you'd find on basically any other smartwatch on the market, so that's a pretty big bonus for Pebble. The only thing that's probably not so great about it is that it has kind of limited functionality in comparison with what you'd find with the Apple Watch or Android Wear. You basically get notifications, and if you're on iOS, you can't even reply to them, which is a huge problem, and it's really quite annoying. The Pebble Time faces some really stiff competition in the wearables market right now, from Android Wear and the Apple Watch. Honestly, at $200, it's probably not the best deal, and you might be better off with more functionality from Android Wear and the Apple Watch. Of course, if you just want notifications and you don't mind something that's a little bit less refined looking, a little bit more techy, the Pebble Time is a really great offer, and the battery life is superb. You can get it for $200 at Best Buy, though you'll have to wait a while for it to ship.